Well, welcome. We're in the William Faulkner Library at the Union County Heritage Museum, and we're talking music tonight. The museum launched the Beyond the Tracks music series last week with Gracie Williams and Gary Burnside, and the museum itself is located beyond the tracks from downtown New Albany. And we're also celebrating our 30th anniversary. So we're following up on this theme of Beyond the Tracks, which began a few years ago when Leanne Thompson and her journalism students did a documentary on bluesman Sam Mosley and his musical story. So we think it's time to go beyond the tracks again. And we're starting a series about musicians in the area, and it's storytelling and music because we want to know how they found their music. And we hope you'll join us in person if you'd like to, or virtually. And there'll be posts each week to let you know who our guests will be. And tonight our guest is Mike Carter, and his story starts in Union County. And there's one of our largest objects here at the museum is connected to Mike, and it's Dr. Pennebaker's office. And I'll let him tell you that, but let's welcome Mike.
My name is Mike Carter, and I'm really proud to be here today, and I'm really glad and flattered that you asked me to do this. I've lived most of my life here, born here in the Shands Hospital, moved away for a little while, lived in Amory, but by kindergarten we were back here, and lived here most all my life. I lived away for about 6 years, but the rest of the time I've been here. Love New Albany, always have driven to my jobs ever since I moved back here in 95. When we came back here, started having kids and needed some help with that. But always been interested in music. It's been something that's a huge part of my life, just listening to music. Didn't really start playing till later in life. But as Jill said, I told her, she didn't know that until today, but this doctor's office out here was my great-grandfather's, and it was kind of a clubhouse for us growing up, because it was long, it was kind of getting in bad shape, but my dad actually, and my uncle had a gun shop in there for a while, and she was telling me that, when she brought it down here, that it took her forever to get all the shotgun shells out from under the cabinets and everything, and I looked in it this afternoon, and we used to have, we killed a lot of hogs and stuff back and helped other people kill hogs. And we used to hang meat in that back. There's still seagrass rope hanging from the ceilings in there, just like it was when I was a kid. But we'd get off the school bus and have to go up there and flip the meat and put some new sugar cure on there, and then go shoot squirrels till it got dark because my grandmother didn't want the squirrels to get a single one out of her pecan trees. But I got a few songs for you here today, and we'll talk maybe in between the songs. If y'all got any questions, we got all friends and family here today, and got some folks online too. I saw some popping up before I came up here, but we appreciate y'all being here today. I appreciate y'all being here and being asked to do this, and thanks for letting me go after Gary and Gracie, though. I mean, no pressure. Anyway, growing up, musically, I grew up listening. My parents had the big console stereo. I think it was a Zenith or a Magnavox, and we listened to all albums. It's funny that they're coming back now. And it was all classic country until I probably hit middle school and started listening to rock music. And then high school, I was, listening to rock and heavy metal all the time. And my dad would go to First Monday and bring home instruments every now and then. He brought home a fiddle. Nobody learned how to play it. He brought home, a banjo. I think it was a 5-string banjo we never learned. Didn't have anybody to teach us. Both sides of my family were musical as far as, my mom's side had pianos, and every house had a piano in it. I think Aunt Martha played the bass clarinet at one time. Did I get that right? I played the trombone in middle school, but I gave that up. I took piano lessons for a little while, gave that up. But I bought my first guitar when I was 18 years old. I was about to be a sophomore in college at Northeast. So back then, that was before the internet. So that's if you got the internet, it's a lot easier to play the guitar these days because you can get a lesson. College is a good place though to learn because there's always people that have guitars there and just learn from each other, and that's what we did. First year I had a guitar, Jeff Spencer wound up walking in my room. My door was open, and he's one of the greatest guitarists I've ever heard, from over here in Tupelo. And he just started playing. I'm like, I'll never be able to do that. But I stuck with it and probably put it down for a few years. And then I got an acoustic, and when the kids were born, started playing around with them, writing little songs with them. I think Maddie thought at one point I wrote the theme song for the Powerpuff Girls because I put it on, we'd make mix tapes for her, but we made like mix CDs for them, and I'd put stuff on there in between the songs, and I'd found some version of that. It was some indie version of that song, and I put it on there, but I'd play it, and so they thought it was me. They argued with me, "Dad, that's you." I'm like, "I promise you it's not me." But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and start, and unless y'all got any questions or anything, I'm going to go ahead and play one for you. Started listening to, like I said, rock and heavy metal, and I really, at some point in my life, I really started paying more attention to the lyrics than I did anything else. And it was interesting, last year, I saw it was a Facebook post or something about, what do you do? Do you pay attention to the lyrics or do you pay attention to the beat? And I'm like, well, nobody pays attention to the beat. Well, like 50% of the population reported that that's all they listened to. They didn't care about the lyrics. But I've always enjoyed lyrics and anything. Hey, Maddie, glad you made it. Anyway, I've always paid attention to the lyrics, and I'm drawn more to probably what's probably classified now as Americana. But I still listen to a lot of the same things that all of you do. I listen to a lot of different kinds of music. You're talking about the internet earlier. A lot of you are young enough you never knew not having the internet. But we first got it's 1992. We got a little. It was like a dictaphone or something. It was connected to a microwave tower, and it was supposed to be for communication up and down the waterway, for work. But we were always typing song lyrics in there and trying to get somebody to guess what song it was. You could send them to one person or the whole group, and even when we, got computers, so we still do that. And I'm in a couple of group text messages with two different groups of people, Vance and Graham and Frank are in one of them. We're always posting songs like, "Hey, have you heard this?" So music's a big part of my life, and a lot of my friends too. I just seem to be gravitated toward people who are musically inclined or just love music in general. But this first song is a Drive-By Truckers song, but Jason Isbell, who used to be in the Drive-By Truckers, actually wrote it. But he's from over here around Killen, Alabama, and so not too far away. He's kind of local. But I'm going to play you one of his songs called Outfit. And to me, it's one of those songs that should be like a Southern anthem for anybody who's growing up around here. So you want to grow up to paint houses like me, trailer in my yard till you're 23. You want to feel old after 42 years and keep dropping the hammer, grinding the gears. Well, I used to go out in a Mustang, 302 Mach 1 in green. Me and your mama made you in the back, and then I sold it to buy her a ring. I tried not to say much of nothing, but you probably already know. But in case you don't, or you may before God, I'm gonna lay it out real nice and slow.
Don't call what you're wearing an outfit, and don't ever say your car is broke. Don't worry about losing your accent. The Southern man tells better jokes. Have fun and stay clear of the needle. Call home on your sister's birthday. Don't tell them you're bigger than Jesus. Don't give it away. Don't give it away. 5 years in the St. Florian foundry. They call an industrial park. Hospital maintenance and tech school, just to memorize Frigidaire parts. But I got to missing your mama, and I got to missing you too. So I went back to painting for my old man, and I guess that's what I'll always do. Don't try to change who you are, boy. Don't ever be something you ain't. Don't let me catch you in Kendale, a bucket of wealthy man's paint. And have fun and stay clear of the needle. Call home on your sister's birthday. Don't tell them you're bigger than Jesus. Don't give it away. Don't give it away.
All right. I left out half of a verse. Thank y'all. Something else about, just growing up and around here, it's something that came to mind today when I was coming down here that I'd totally forgotten about. It was, after we moved back here, the kids were growing up, we'd walk downtown and go in Ralph Miller's music shop, and it was like going in church on a Saturday morning because, they were sitting around in a circle. You couldn't buy anything because they were all playing, You'd have to stop playing and come wait on you. But anyway, he would always, he'd come back to the same thing. I was a park ranger for a number of years, so I'd walk, when he moved his shop over there on the other, right on, almost across the tracks, so I could walk there and I'd go in there and just look at guitars and stuff and talk to him. And I think his favorite song was Wildwood Flower because he asked me that every time. He's like, there was a guy in here the other day, he could really pick that Wildwood Flower. He said, can you play that? And I'm like, no, I can't. Anyway, I got another one here for you. This was a Benjamin Todd song. And Ben used to play in a band called the Lost Dog Street Band with his wife. She played fiddle. And anyway, he's a great songwriter. He was supposed to play in Tupelo one night, and then he canceled the show because the Blue Canoe didn't have a green room. But so a lot of people don't like him because of that. But he's just that way. But he's one of the best songwriters I've heard in a long time. But this one's called "We Ain't Even Kin," and this is a true story that he wrote about. I don't know if he's from there, but his grandfather, that he's not kin to, is from Muhlenberg County, Kentucky. He says that in the YouTube video that he talks about. But anyway, I really like this one.
People say I look like my grandfather, and I begin to explain we ain't even kin, and he'll interrupt with why bother, and saunter away with a sideways grin, 'cause we both understand, not giving a dang about feelings. Why in the heck try to tell people what you are living? Life is defined by decisions, We may burn bridges we ain't got time to mend. You're too old to be in this condition, too young for the Lord to take in. He'd read me the Bible till midnight, he'd tan my hide if he caught me in lies. When I dropped out of school we did fight, and we lost some years with our foolish pride. Now I'm not sure if I'm better or worse for the distance. We won't complain, there's nothing to learn from resentment. Life is defined by decisions. We may burn bridges we ain't got time to mend. We're too old to be in this condition. You're too young for the Lord to take in. He cheers with the television, hoping this year Kentucky will win. And I'll give a yell from the kitchen, and I wear it with pride that I'm close to him. Now I'm not sure as I watch the haze fill his eyes, but I won't complain. It's a privilege to live and die. Life is defined by decisions. You may burn bridges you ain't got time to mend. You're too old to be in this condition. You're too young for the Lord to take in. You're too young for the Lord to take in.
Thank you. You know, I watch a lot of music shows. I went without television for a long, long time, but I always had music. You know, I couldn't do. If I had to pick between two, I couldn't do without the music. But I've done without commercial television for a number of years. But I stream everything now. But anyway, it's always, I've gone for weeks and weeks just not even watching television, just, you know, get home and, you know, just unwind with music and everything. And we started, a lot of people on the music shows, that's where I was going to get sidetracked, I'm sorry. But a lot of people you see on music shows, I mean, half the people up there get up and say that they started singing in church, you know, and that's where they learn, you know, choir or whatever. And I didn't do that. We went to a little small church, Ebenezer, ARP, a church up there, and I think we sang a few songs, you know, on some kind of special event, maybe. And but it wasn't a normal thing, so I'm amazed at all these kids, you know. Go to First Methodist now, and there's so much talent there. I mean, these high school kids get up there, and you know, they're in the plays, and they play instruments and sing in front of 150 people, you know, on Sundays, and it took me a long time to be able to do that. It was not something that came natural to me, and most of the people who knew me in college when I was playing guitar, they still say to this day, like, I didn't know you sang. And I'm like, well, I couldn't do both at the same time, you know. So I picked the one I was better at, which was playing. But anyway, but I didn't learn how to, you know, do this growing up, but church is kind of what got me into it, because I started playing in the praise band about 7 years ago, and then, you know, get a little bit more confident in playing in front of people, and then all of a sudden, whoever's supposed to be doing that, they leave and they're gone. That's how Methodist preachers do. They're like, all right, we got you somewhere you to go, and they're like, Mike, you think you can do this, can't you? I'm like, no, I can't. but so that happened a couple of times, and anyway, that gave me a lot of confidence just having to do that. I think we played the same 10 songs for about 6 weeks, because that's all I could do, you know. But and that kind of led to other things. we started, the Veneti's are here. We had the first Fridays down there at the BBC. That kind of, Vance was a big part of that. Every once a week on Fridays we would play down there, and that helped a lot. And a lot of people would just get up there and sing, and it got to be really fun. Just something else I was going to say. You brought up Sam Mosley a little while ago. I mean, how cool is it to live in a town and just see, go to Stokes or something and see Sam Mosley walking around? I mean, he's a legend. But a lot of people still don't know that, and they live right here. So I appreciate all y'all have done to spotlight him, and and have him a part of all this stuff, and with all that stuff with the kids and everything. That was just amazing. So, but that's always been fun. Just seeing Mr. Sam and talking to him down there. And I still have never asked him to teach me how to play guitar, but I'm still hoping. I'm gonna play this one just because I know Leanne and Graham were big fans, and a lot of y'all are fans of the Avett Brothers. I raised my kids on the Avett Brothers, and I'm gonna play probably the only one I can do by heart, but it's the In the Curve.
Never taken this curve, driving this fast before. A glowing stop sign, both lanes are mine, those seat belts attached to my door. My speed meter don't work, so I'm going to guess 95. Maybe I'll fix it, maybe I won't, that depends on my being alive. My bottle of bourbon is gone, it flew away all by itself. Maybe if you find it, and if ever you find it, my photo behind it, and memory of me on your shelf. Well, it's been raining all day, and it's been raining all night. Slip and slide highway, and I'm moving sideways. I'm loose, but my steering wheel's tight. My 63 Ford is a bull. She's 4,000 pounds at least. Metal surrenders when oak trees meet fenders, and engines come through the front seat. Well, I lost control in the curve, and the gas line broke in the wreck. Walk from the ashes, just a few scratches, my crucifix warm on my neck. Well, the good Lord is with me tonight, He's riding beside me tonight. Now we're just walking, hitchhiking, talking, we'll see you in Concord tonight. just talking, we're hitchhiking, walking, we'll see you in Concord tonight. That's not the one I thought I'd forget the words to. Wouldn't happen. I'm not a songwriter. I write songs, but they're not that good. But there is a really good songwriter from right here in Union County named Josh Knighton. Myra taught him out at East Union, and he lives in Tupelo now, but he's really good. I mean, y'all should check his stuff out. He played in a band for a few years called the Wayward Ken, but he's just as good, if not better, by himself, just because he's such a good songwriter, and I've known him since he was born, really. He's always had an interesting way with words. He's John Kelly's son, and I remember standing out in their yard one day, and I don't remember if he said it at that time or if they were just telling me that he said it, but anyway, he looked at the moon and just a little sliver of a moon, and he said, that kind of looks like a fingernail, I'm like, well, he's just a little kid. I'm like, he's right. It really does look like a little fingernail. But he wrote a song about being from Mississippi called Last Place State. We get accused of being the last in a lot of things here. And I don't know if anybody's ever heard that song. But the song's about, I guess, just being proud from being from Mississippi no matter what. Even if we are the last place and everything. And it's interesting being in this Faulkner Library because one of the lines in the song he talks about Yoknapatawpha County, in the song. So anyway, Josh, I hope you're listening. This is one of my favorites. But slipping down a county road to get back home, drinking fast and driving slow. So blues man growling through my radio, sad truth makes me feel alive. Looks like we made it through another year, there ain't a whole lot's changed down here. A few kids grow up and just disappear, most are stuck in and try to survive. Hanging on in the last place state, kicking buckets of dust at our fate. Change what we can and cuss what we can't, do what it takes to get by. Some days I wanna just get out, tear down the curtain and cast off the doubt. And all I love can't follow me away. We're hanging on in the last place state. Maybe the shade of the grass all comes down to the side of the fence you're looking through. Maybe all the names that call us for true, or maybe it's what we choose to believe. Yoknapatawpha to the Devil's Crossroads, John Lee Hooker to the king of rock and roll. Got the same Mississippi dirt in my bones. I might run, but I'll never leave. We're hanging on in the last place state, kicking buckets of dust at our fate. Change what we can and cuss what we can't, do what it takes to get by. Some days I wanna just get out, tear down the curtain and cast off the doubt. And all I love can't follow me away. We're hanging on in the last place state. county road to get back home. I'm drinking fast and I'm driving slow. Lucille's wailing through my radio. Sad truth makes me feel alive.
Thank y'all. That's a good one, Josh. This is another one of his I want to play. When I first heard this song, I couldn't believe he wrote it. And you know how a song is. It means something different to everybody. So I thought he'd been reading Dante or something. I had no idea that it was a whole lot more simpler than that. I mean, maybe not simple, but that had nothing to do with the song that I thought it did. But like I said, song lyrics mean different things to different people. And this one, I really don't know exactly what it's about, but I think it's, I've been told it's kind of an apology. So, but it's called Brimstone.
40 years I spent trying to run down the truth I could wrap my arms around. Spinning my wheels and listen to the sound of an engine revving still. I thought I had it all figured out, fueled by the fear that runs through the South. I had brimstone all in my mouth and a fire that told me was real. All I didn't know, all I didn't want to see, a place I thought I'd never go. I'm a man I thought I'd never be. Now I learned to listen a little more than I talk. Learn to measure a man, listen what he says, more on the way he walks. I found all that I was looking for in the word of drunk poets from long before. Fear don't drive me anymore, 'cause I know just who I am. Well, I'll never run away from asking why. I've seen through the wall to the other side. I got more to live for than the day I die. It's been there from the start. Believing a thing ain't ever made it true, and the world's got plenty of stories for you. Don't let the brimstone keep you from the truth. Don't let it keep you from who you are. Think I'd ever thought anything but love would save me, and happiness could be bought. Fear would ever change me. Listen a little more than I talk. I learned to measure a man, less on what he says, but more on the way he walks. I found all that I was looking for in the words of drunk poets from long before. Fear don't drive me anymore, 'cause I know just who I am.
Appreciate that. Acoustic guitars do not like cold weather. I think I got a couple more. Maybe out of stories though. I don't know. You do? I'm sure it was. I'm sure it was fun. Yeah. Let's see what we got here. One of my favorite songwriters right now, for sure, is Tyler Childers. I know y'all have heard of him. He wrote this song about his wife, Sonora Mae, but she's also a songwriter. And but I really like this one. Like I said, it takes songs take people in a lot of different directions. But this one just reminds me of, I guess, being young. But
Well, I'm a stone's throw from the mill, and I'm a good walk to the river. My working day is over, we'll go swim our cares away. Stick your toes down in the water, and a smile across your face. Tell me that you love me, lovely Lady Mae. Well, I ain't the sharpest chisel that your hands have ever held. Darling, I can love you well until the roll's called on high. And I've seen my share of trouble, and I've held my weight in shame. I was baptized in your name, my lovely Lady Mae. Now the wind can leave you shivering as it waltzes over leaves. It's been rushing through my timbers till your love brought on the spring. And now the mountains are blushing and they don't know what to say, except a good long line of praises for my lovely Lady Mae. And I ain't the toughest hickory that your axe has ever failed, but I'm a hickory just as well, and I'm a hickory all the same. And I came crashing through your forest as you cut my roots away. I fell a good long way for my lovely Lady Mae. That in for Ralph. Tyler does that too, though. I didn't come up with that on my own, but oh me. Maddie, I was didn't play the song that we sang at your wedding, though, but I hadn't told the story about that. But I was telling I'd play songs for the kids, but this was back before we moved back here. Maddie was born, and one of Maddie's first words was "uh-oh," like every other baby, you know. But so anyway, we wound up singing. We'd sing the song. It was a better than Ezra song called "Good." And Rodney Holly, a good friend of mine, claims that half of that song was written in his apartment floor at Ole Miss while he was a DJ for U92. But so anyway. So Maddie could sing the "uh-oh" part of that song. So even though it was a song about a Dear John letter, we sang it at her wedding, you know, but it was fun. But I don't think everybody knew what that song was, though. But
about a change in relationship.
That's right. something to play. Yeah, I'll play that one. This is a Killer song. They put out a good song about every 10 years. That'll be about my luck if I start writing them. But
you sit there in your heartache, holding on some beautiful boy to save you from your old ways. You play forgiveness, watch it now, watch it go. Burning down a highway, skyline on the back of a hurricane, like you imagined when you were young. He doesn't look a thing like Jesus, but he smiles like a gentleman, like you imagined when you were young. Can we climb this mountain? I don't know, higher than ever before. I know we can make it if we take it slow. Take it easy, watch it now, watch it go. We're burning down a highway, skyline on the back of a hurricane, like you imagined when you were young. Sometimes you close your eyes and see the place where you used to live when you were young. You know the devil's water, it ain't so sweet. You don't have to drink right now, but you can dip your feet every once in a little while. You sit there in your heartache, waiting on some beautiful boy to rescue you from your old ways. You play forgiveness, watch it now, watch it go. We're burning down a highway, skyline on the back of a hurricane, like you imagined when you were young. Well, he doesn't look a thing like Jesus, but he talks like a gentleman, like you imagined when you were young.
one more. That sound good?
Something about a zero.
You know I can't sing like that. I can't do that.
What's a song that you would like to play that you're working on or thinking about?
That I'm thinking about learning how to play?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or practicing that you're not ready to?
I'm gonna try to learn several Tyler Childers songs just by heart. I mean, I love the song Matthew by him. It's about his brother-in-law that guards missiles and silos out west. That's a great one. I want to learn some more Avett Brothers. For sure, there was one they wrote. It was on this. It wasn't on the last album. It was on the one before it. But No Hard Feelings. That's going to be a really good one for me. You know, I love that song. I think I'll play one just to close us out. You know, this is one that we started out playing at church. You know, it's probably the only one that I can halfway remember the words to. So, if y'all know it, this is a Jesus Culture song. Has anybody got anything they want to say before we close this out tonight? I appreciate y'all being here. I really do. It was. I figured nobody would show up.
Nothing can separate, even if we ran away. Your love never fails. I know I still make mistakes, but you have new mercies for me every day. Your love never fails. You stay the same through the ages. Your love never changes. There may be pain in the night, love comes in the morning. And when the oceans rage, I don't have to be afraid. I know that you love me, 'cause your love never fails. The wind is strong and the water's deep, but not alone here in these open seas. Your love never fails. The chasm is far too wide. Never thought we'd reach the other side. Your love never fails. You stay the same through the ages. Your love never changes. There'll be pain in the night, love comes in the morning. And when the oceans rage, I don't have to be afraid, 'cause I know that you love me. Your love never fails. You make all things work together for my good. You make all things work together for my good. You make all things work together for my good. You make all things work together for my good. You stay the same through the ages. Your love never changes. There may be pain in the night, joy comes in the morning. And when the oceans rage, I don't have to be afraid, 'cause I know that you love me. Your love never fails.
I appreciate that. Thank you. If I'd have known you were coming, Frank, I'd have learned how to play Hurt by heart. I can play if you can sing it. All right. That's
When you're learning a song, do you just listen to it until that, or do you learn the tabs, or how do you do that?
I would be a lot better if I would just listen to it over and over again. I would learn it a lot faster. I don't know why this thing's decided to squeal. Guess I need that back on now. You think the other mic's picking me up? All right, I'll just leave it on. But it's a lot easier now to learn because they post tablature on a lot of different websites, and just about any song that you can imagine, if you just type in whatever, Hurt, chords, 9 Inch Nails or Johnny Cash, whatever, whatever version you put that in, you can find it. It's not always right because they post them online, and then other people critique them and maybe correct them, but sometimes they don't get corrected, so you learn them wrong, But once you try to play along with it, you can correct yourself but it gives you a jump start just to be able to have it out there. So that's how we do. That's how I do it. It would be a lot better as far as, because that makes you rely on the sheet music or your tablet or whatever you've got. But if you do it the old-fashioned way, if you sit down and listen to it and write all those lyrics down and then figure out the chords that go with them, it sticks with you. But that's what I have to do. If I really want to learn something and not have a crutch, that's the way I have to do it, is write it out. Sometimes more than once. Just like try to write the song from memory without listening to it. And anybody got anything else?
What did you listen to growing up?
We started out listening to our parents' stuff, especially the classic country, the Cash and Willie and Waylon. My parents, I remember their collection. They had some big band stuff and Glenn Miller, but I think out of all of that stuff, I liked Elvis better than anything. I loved that whole album, Burning Love, and that stuff he never even kept playing like later in life. But the song Burning Love was one of my favorites when I was a kid. But then, I remember I got an 8-track player and got some Kiss 8-tracks. The younger generation doesn't know what they're missing in 8-tracks. It's nothing like stopping in the middle of a song and then waiting until it changes channels so you can pick it back up. They didn't even try to do it any better. They didn't try to get a whole song on a track and then change. They just changed right in the middle of a song, wherever it came. But, then I remember going to First Monday with my dad. That was a monthly thing. We'd go up there, and of course, back then, there was so much pirated music, cassettes and everything. But you could go buy I started buying Black Sabbath and Ozzy Osbourne cassettes, and one of my great uncles used to work on radios, and he had a lot of spare parts laying around, and so at one point I had an old 71 Bronco, so I had a 8-track player under the seat and a cassette player in the dash, and I had one of his old radio parts that switched, and I'd figured out a way to solder the wires on there where I could just reach down there and switch from one to the other. And I took that old stereo apart that my parents had and made some box speakers to go in the back of that thing. It sounded terrible, but it was it.
Who
But
do
that's
you remember playing at Mr. Miller's?
who do I remember?
Yeah.
I don't remember any of their names. It was a lot of people from here. People would drive from a long way away to be there on Saturdays, because I didn't know a lot of those people. They were, I think, quite a few of them would come from Fulton or Itawamba County. There was a huge players group over there that would come over here, and I love Mr. Miller though. It was just hanging out down there, and we wouldn't stay very long. The kids we'd be going down to get an ice cream or something, but we'd go in there and listen for a little while. I remember Buddy and Kay used to do a lot of stuff here, special events, and they would come, and I started working in Fulton at the Jamie Whitten Historical Center in in '92, and they would come over there and they would bring out folks from the nursing homes, and they would come out, and so I actually got to sit in with Buddy, Buddy Bain. It was that was really good. But all those guys over there played those old Martin guitars, and all their strings were rusty, and I'm just like, I'm never going to learn how to play an acoustic because it was so hard to play. But I didn't know if you could got new strings, it was easier. Anybody got anything else? Hey, George.
Mike?
How are you?
Fine, how are you?
Doing good.
Mike influenced my music because he's 11 years older than I am. And so about the time he was buying that music at First Monday, I was in the first grade listening to Twisted Sister and Rat while everybody else in the first grade was listening to other things.
I got to listen to the Ozzy Osbourne and AC/DC on the way to school. So all the boys thought I was cool because I knew all the words to the song.
Yeah, I think AC/DC was my all-time favorite. I remember writing in the, you write things, and the seniors used to write things in the annuals, and I think that's what I wrote in there, something about it. And they were broken up at the time. I'm like, I just want to see AC/DC live, and then they come out with Flick of the Switch or something. I don't know if it's Flick of the Switch. What came out in about 84 or 5? It wasn't Fly on a Wall. It was 74 Jailbreak. Something. It was whatever it was. It was a terrible album. I'm like, I don't know if I want to go see them anymore. But I did wind up seeing them twice after that. But that was huge. Like I said, music was such a big part of my life, and when I finally got old enough to go see concerts, there was no tick pick, there was nothing. You went and drove and spent the night in the Albemarle Alley parking lot and tried to sleep sitting up where you'd be like the first or second or third in line just so you could get some good tickets. That was, kids do that for video games now, but not concert tickets. It was just different times. Anybody else? Well, I appreciate being here. I told everybody that I hope to do a lot more music soon. I'm planning on retiring at the end of November, and just I worked with George for a number of years. He works for the Corps of Engineers too. But it's when you get age eligible and you got the time, it's time to go. Everybody counts their days down, because it's just it's time to go. I really just want to get off the road. I spend 3 hours a day on the road now. If the COVID deal has allowed a lot of teleworking, but I still don't telework too much. I might 1 or 2 days a week, but I'm ready to get off the road and do something else. So I'll be around, Jill, if you need any help.
Well, it was awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate it.